All right, hello again. Welcome to the second part of business success and failure. Just remember, this is a K niche production. Um, we're looking now at financial planning. So we finished off before with competitive advantage. Um, Now we need to look at financial planning and how that contributes to small business success or failure. So the first thing, as a small business, you need to be aware that you need to walk before you can run. Okay, you need to be aware that you need to start small and gradually expand. There's not many businesses out there that have the capabilities, the work, the capital, okay, the finance to be able to go out and start a large business. You need to start small, work out what your strengths are, build upon them, and then in order to create a nice and profitable business that you can then reinvest in and start to grow. So with that in mind, um, some businesses, and the reason for small business failure is that some small business owners, they overextend on their finance. Um, it results in excess expenditure, and it's usually financed, or finance is usually through a source such as a bank, who are usually not very forgiving. So they charge a large rate of interest, and with their repayments, you have to be on time. Otherwise, they have a course of redress, so they can actually go and claim, especially if it's a unlimited liability. They can go on then and claim personal assets off you in order to recoup those funds. With that in mind, there's a few things. A business can overextend financially by quite a few ways, but these are some of them. Now, it's overextending with non-essential equipment is a lot of the reasons. Okay, so with this, you'll see cars, you'll see equipment. So that might be things within your business. So where if it's a uh, let's say a pizza store, okay, their equipment will be their pizza oven. All right, it might be their point of sale work. Um, Office furniture is another main one. Okay, keeping it up to date. Now you've got to be aware of how much that's going to cost and depreciation and things like that. A big one here is actually purchasing excess stock. Now we're going to go in, especially within the HSC, into greater detail about stock control, but it's something you got to be aware of, that if you've got stock that's sitting, say, in your warehouse or in the back of your store or something like that, you're not making money on that. It means you're not liquid. You don't have easy accessibility to cash because it's tied up in things like stock. So, um, so you have to be very aware that you know to have stock control and to not have too much, not have too little, be able to have quick access to, say, goods that you might need in order to, sell on to the consumer if they request it. Once again, we'll go into more detail of this, especially throughout the HSC. Um, and the last one there is employing too many staff for the business's current needs. Now, we've all seen it where you go into a store and there's five people working and they're all sitting there doing nothing when nothing needs to be done. You might see that usually in franchises, okay, because they can afford the wages, okay. Whereas small business, you need to be aware that you need to cater and staff appropriately for different times of the week. So if you're running, once again, we'll go with the pizza restaurant. If you're running a pizza restaurant, you're going to need to staff more people on a Friday afternoon, Friday night, or a night of the state of origin, okay, or something like that. So you need to forecast what your sales are going to be for the night and then staff appropriately so that you're going to have more people on those kind of nights than you will on a Monday night, okay? And, you can see the marketing reasons behind um, how decisions are made. So pizza, for instance, a Tuesday night is Cheap Tuesday because they've created something during the week in order to bring you in, okay? And they're going to staff appropriately for that. So you'll see the flow-on effects of all these kind of business decisions. So these types of expenditures, especially as you see up here, they're fixed. A lot of them are fixed, which means the business has a lease contract which is valid for a certain period. Now, usually it's 1 or 2 years, something like that. This creates a high degree of business risk. For example, if economic conditions weaken, okay, businesses that are highly geared, so which means they have a higher debt to equity ratio, so it means they've got a lot more money tied up in, plants, equipment, stock, okay, than they are with cash. They come under this greater financial pressure and are a lot more susceptible to bankruptcy. All right, so businesses need to be aware of these things. So how do you overcome it? Okay, there's a couple of ways. Firstly, and I say it a million times, business planning. Okay, planning. It involves the completion of cash flow projections. Okay, so how much actual money is coming in and going out. How much the establishment is going to cost, okay, especially for a new business, or whether it might be an upgrade or whatever it might be, and financial budgets and statements. Budgets and statements will go into a lot of detail within the HSC course once again. Second one, overcoming or avoiding an overdependence on debt financing. So debt financing means, usually banks or, venture capitalists or something like that, but lenders or creditors, these guys are unwilling to wait for businesses to overcome difficulties in a recession. So if you've borrowed money from, say, a bank, if they need that money back, they're going to find ways to take that from you, because if they're in a difficult time, like a recession, they need to recoup their losses as well. And that's where unlimited liability comes in once again. And finally, the important one at the end, a small start. It's important to start slowly and allow the market, okay, to determine the right times for expansion and growth. So with how your business is going. Lastly, we've got technology. Okay, you'll see here the possible problems once again and possible consequences. So within the possible problems, sometimes business success is hinged on technology, okay, especially in a competitive marketplace. You look at the issues on the left here, say unaware of what technology is available and what it can do, wrong level of investment, insufficient staff skills, okay, the integration of technology into business processes. If your business can't adapt to what is out there and what's there to help you and help your business achieve, okay, if you're not using that effectively, it could mean the difference between success and failure, okay, because ultimately, if someone's using it properly, if a business is using it properly, it should result in cheaper costs, a bit more streamline and efficiency, which will then be passed on to the consumer for a cheaper end product. Okay, so the possible consequences include low productivity and high cost of production, poor customer service is one, and an over-reliance on out-of-date technology, loss of market share. Now, over-reliance on out-of-date technology, it's funny, if you go into David Jones, you'll still see that they've got cash registers that are 15 to 20 years old. All right. They've struggled in past because they haven't adapted with things like that, so point of sale systems, but even online marketplace. Okay, you look at you got David Jones, you got your Myer, you've got your Harvey Norman. They're now really battling through this latest global financial crisis because they haven't been able to adapt to the technology, which is e-commerce, which is online marketplace, and they're really struggling now to the likes of Zara does online, Iconic, okay, even things like Eastbay. All right, so these are the reasons. A thought for you: what business have you dealt with that uses technology well, and what uses technology badly? And I think you'll find you'll be able to come up with a few. I'll leave it at that, guys. Thanks for listening to the first in the series of the K-Niche Productions, a Kirby flipped lesson experience. Always wanting your feedback, so please pass that on to me. And I hope it goes well for you. Have a good one.